gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to SimSock 6000. I am your host, very attractive, and with me, as always, is noted simian researcher, Mike Magus.
Thank you. I remembered the actual overlay this time.
Well done.
It's got an ESR logo, it's got a SimSock logo. So, it took me 3 tries, but I got it right eventually.
As long as you keep trying, eventually you may or may not get it right.
We are here at Spa Francorchamps for the 3rd round of the ESR RWB Super GT Saturday Series. And, this is the 2nd tier, which is the only tier we hadn't done commentary for before, actually. So,
keep talking this.
Well, I mean, it's my tier, so get ready for the ESR commentary drinking game where I refer to myself in the 3rd person.
It's really super weird, and you have to drink every time he does it.
Mm-hmm. So the GT4s here are finishing up. We tried to divide the qualifying session into 2 separate heats, basically, to let the GT3s get their thing done, and then the GT4s get their thing done. Not everybody complied with that because it was a gentleman's agreement, but and that led to some consternation. But that more or less was what it had. So you can see the GT3s, which are the top 14 cars, are more or less in the order that they will start. GT4 is settling his day, and Kelleher are still on track. Although I think that was Day's last lap. So it's really just Kelleher we're waiting on, as well as Victor Manuel Martin, or Martin, I assume, based on the fact that he is Spanish. It's an all Polish front row, by the way, so that's an interesting thing when it comes to motorsports, because it's not like Poland has a super deep motorsports history, to be honest.
Are you saying they don't know how to drive?
Not at all. In fact, I will say this. There has been one Polish driver in the history of F1, and he was very, very good. So there you go.
And his name was Polish Michael Schumacher.
Robert Kubica. Or Kubica. Or various other things. He had a horrible, horrible accident, and his arm got all fucked up, and that pretty much ended his career.
Well, I was going to make a Kubica joke, but since you've already done the whole sausage mangling, maybe I won't.
Although he did rejoin the grid last season, and it just wasn't very good. Oh,
no, what handle do they do?
We have a late joiner, Mr. D. Wilk, who's missed out on the entire commentary or the entire qualifying and practice session. So
that's not very D nice of you.
He's coming in cold in multiple ways. Victor Manuel Martin coming across the line. Snap up 5th place, nicely done. Front row will be Marinowski, Badowski, Tazaro. I'm not even going to try 4th place. You could go
with it. What's about Tazaro?
It's not Cesaro, it's Tazaro. Martin, Baba Ganoush, Glixer, Fernandez, Hernandez, and Mueller. Or Anderson and Mueller. Why did I say Hernandez?
Because it rhymes.
I guess. Anyways, that's your top 10. And then James Butler will start on the GT4 pole, followed by Martin Edmonds, Menacing Skull, John Barker, W. Day, I don't remember what your first name is. Apologies. Zach Gordon, Herbie, and Flack.
So Herbie and Flack, does that involve like World War II Herbie the Love Bug, or
you'd have to ask Mr. Herbie. He's in a
Camaro.
Camaro,
Flack 88 on a V-dub.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Ooh. That's nice.
Pop.
So it will be Alexis starting from pole with Marinowski and Badowski's Ferrari on the front row there. And in the GT4 category, it's a Ginetta, which is surprising. I did not think that would be a strong car around here. And Martin Edmonds is Aston Martin. That will be the front row. By the way, does anyone else feel that Martin Edmonds just picked the Aston Martin because obvious reasons?
I heard he's going to actually add that as a hyphen to his last name will be Aston, or his Martin Edmonds Aston Martin.
Maybe secretly Martin's been his middle name this whole time. His first name is Aston.
It's Ask something.
Oh, that's harsh.
I kid.
All right. We're waiting for the grid to form up here. The countdown you can see there up top in the middle there, minute 41 before the race begins. Interesting note, Sean Kenny down in 14th place had the exact same lap time as Michael Magus. That's a low point in his career. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Wilk. Where is he starting? Is he actually starting? Ooh, he might actually be starting. He is starting at the back. Oh, that is really unfortunate for him because he's going to have to crawl through all the GT4s to catch up to the other GT3s. That's the punishment you get for being late, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's it. Crawl for daddy.
It's a bit weird that ACC doesn't just group the classes together and actually.
Well, I mean, that is an eternal struggle that we all face.
You're not wrong there. Classism is internal battles for all of us. Be nice if the auto director would go like car by car through the grid during this period so we could get a look at everybody. Instead, it's just kind of looking at Victor Manuel Martin and just going into different camera views on him.
I don't know. Maybe if they do it like a nice smooth 360 helicopter shot.
That'd be cool. Yeah, yes. He is the yellow and black Porsche there that is lining up in 5th place. Any liveries striking out to you here, Byron? You are official livery expert of what looks cool.
Well, I mean, it's a bit far back to judge, but I think they're all pretty bad. I mean, nobody's got like an Invader Zim car or anything, so I mean, it's pretty substandard.
Which can be done in this game, actually, because there is full custom liveries. All right, here we go. And Martin's a little slow off the line there. A couple of guys are a little slow off the line as we head towards La Source on the formation lap here, and things will go green sometime after La Source. This is a bit of a weird track where turn 1 is not the start line, because it's a bit interesting in that regard. Because the start line's before La Source, but the start line will be after La Source.
What about the start line?
Well, there is no stop line, technically.
Well, maybe there should be.
All right. Here we go. They're approaching the line. Little shaky on the formation there, but no one getting a drive through. And we are off with Marinowski in the lead from Badowski and Tazaro. Nope, Tazaro's been overtaken by the third Polish guy. We got a 1-2-3 from Poland. That's a bit weird. And Juan Antonio Fernandez with a very good start by the looks of it. He's shown in 4th place. I'm not sure I trust that, though. 4th place. Not really sure where he is. As we head to... Oh, somebody is very off in the wall. We'll see who that is dropping through the order when they hit the timing line. Was not one of the top 2, that I can say. It was a darker car. So maybe Tazaro? Tazaro is my guess.
It was me the whole time.
Marinowski and Badowski still up front. There is Badowski going quite wide. No, Tazaro's still in the mix there, so it was not Tazaro that was in the wall. As he is, in fact, overtaking somebody there. Not sure who that was. As we pick up with Damian Wilk, he's the one that's having to claw his way through all the GT4s. One would hope that they're getting out of his way for the most part, because they really can't fight with him, but I guess if they have an axe to grind, they could grind that axe.
Everybody go 6 wide around all the corners.
That would definitely make it very difficult to overtake.
Correct.
So Wilkes up to 20th place. He just has John Barker, Martin Edmonds, Menacing Skull, and James Butler to clear. In fact, 3 of them are right there, so he should be able to pick them off here in fairly short order here through the back section, heading towards Blanchimont. Gets past Menacing Skull there, goes to the inside. Barker is next on his list. He'll probably get him before the bus stop. Or, oh, maybe not. Barker maybe not realizing that's not a car he's racing, because that was a little defensive. Not illegal by any means, but it is sandbag Wilk a little bit.
for an additional challenge, you have to stop at the bus stop and pick somebody up for ballast every lap.
That'd be interesting. I will say the another thing I don't really like about the auto director information here, and just the information in general, is of course we're seeing that Menacing Skull is in 20th or 19th place, depending on which chart we agree with. Apparently 18th, actually. But we don't see where he is in relation to the GT4 ranking. It'd be nice if they would fix that in an upcoming update, because class position would be handy to know. I can work it out by looking at the side that he's in 4th place behind Butler, Edmonds, and the man he is battling with, John Barker. But it does take that little bit of extra effort, as he does make the overtake into Lecombe. Herbie looking for a way around Day in the back. I know that I used to know Day's first name, and I can't remember it, and it's kind of bugging me.
Julio.
It is definitely not Julio. Oh, God! That was a bit clumsy by Day. That's going to lose him out as he tried to go for the move on Barker. And that's going to cost him some spots. Still haven't figured out who was in the wall earlier. But
It was me.
It is the triple polar. Oh, no, it's not. It's Marinowski. Or is it Rizik? Is that what it is? I don't know. And then Baba Ganoush in 3rd place. Might be.
Rizik.
Fernandez.
You're Montenegrin, you tell me.
I am not, but okay. Fernandez in 4th place. Then it's Mueller, Crookshank, or Crookie, Glixer, Anderson, Eugeni, Kenny, Magus, Reynolds, Badowski, Tazaro, and Wilk.
Well, then it had to be Badowski, because he was like number 2. That must have been the guy on the wall.
No, the guy on the wall was a darker car. Badowski's a red Ferrari.
Oh, well, then I don't know. Okay.
Spoiler, I spent a good chunk of the race staring in my rear view at Badowski, so I'm very familiar with his car. I still think it might have been Tazaro. Zach Morgan with the overtake there on Charger, RWB Charger. And behind them is the recovering car of Day. Very American car from Zach Morgan. Stars and stripes on the roof as they head into La Source. Bit of a train forming here behind Menacing Skull.
Do you feel menaced?
I suppose now is as good a time as any. Does anyone want me to turn off the names on the cars in the future, or keep them on? Because
I think you should replace the cars with the names.
On one hand, it does make identifying everyone very easy. But on the other hand, it does mean you have these names up here that kind of breaks the immersion to a certain degree. So I could see both sides of the equation.
We were, when I was doing commentary on the ACC, we were doing the live thing for a little bit. We had a lot of complaints. People wanted the names turned off, and I didn't care because I can't keep track of all those people. So
I probably wouldn't. Oh,
the whims of my particular joie de vivre.
Zach,
Oh, no.
Zach Morgan clipped Herbie in the back, and Herbie looks like he's got serious damage, which is terrible on this track because Byron, I'll kind of let you know a little secret here. Spa Francorchamps, longest pit lane in the goddamn world.
Also, that's way worse than comedic damage.
So an unscheduled pit stop here is just like, if I may borrow a classic line from Will Paxton in the movie Alien, game over, man! Game over!
Indeed. And then they put 2 cats in your car and a giant alien.
Well, then you have to deal with Gorman for the rest of the race, and that's not good.
Chase Gormley?
Gorman, not Gormley. Chase Gormley. Why do we always reference him when we go to MMA names?
His name's just because his name is Chase Gormley. It's easy.
Fair enough. He was a really big prospect at one point, and it just the hype just died. Probably because he started losing a lot.
That's generally what happens when you start losing a lot.
Yeah. I don't know. Some people maintain their hype. Anyways, overtake in the background, maybe. Day versus Charger. Nope. Day backed out of it into the bus stop.
Day's not here, man.
On board with Menacing Skull as he looks back at John Barker. So GT4 stats real quick. James Butler leading the way in the Ginetta from Aston Martin's top man Martin Edmonds. Menacing Skull in the Mercedes. Barker in the Aston Martin. The Porsche of Zach Morgan. Charger in the other Porsche. And then Day in the Ginetta. And then it's Herbie in the Camaro. Another Aston Martin in Callum Hustuff, or Rustin. Flack in the Mercedes. And Kelleher in another Aston Martin. So the Aston Martin is definitely the car of choice for Tier 2 GT4 action. There's like 6 of them out here. As we ride with the Menacing Skull into Lake Home. Oh, I don't think he's making it.
What?
The Menacing Skull.
I do not feel menaced, although I appreciate the double orange racing stripe.
I rather like that livery.
How come there's no actual Menacing Skull on this thing?
I feel like he's missed a huge opportunity on that.
That's what I'm thinking.
Step up your livery game, Skull. Of course, the problem with the custom liveries in this game is that when you join the server with a custom livery, everybody gets this lag spike that has this livery because they're rendering it. It's a bit much.
Well, don't you just have to make sure everybody's online in plenty of time?
Never works, my friend. Never works.
What, it just keeps lag spiking everybody all the time throughout the whole game?
No. It's just when they join, but like you'll never get that guy who joins during qualifying and spikes everybody, and everyone's going, "Why is my lap time invalid now?"
Oh yeah, nice. Well, it's just make sure that everybody's signed on by a certain time, otherwise you can't sign on anymore.
Well, or you can't use a custom livery. I think that's probably the rule we're going to eventually use. It's just that, like, if you're a custom livery guy, guess what? It's a privilege. It's not a right. You got to be on nice and early.
That sounds reasonable to me.
And if you join late, you got to do an official livery, in which case you will still lag spike people, like, a little bit, but it's way, way less intrusive. As we ride with Andrew Anderson, currently in 8th place, trying to track down Glixer and Crookie.
Mr. Anderson.
And in behind him, it's Xavier Eugeni, Sean Kenny, and not too far back at this is Michael Magus.
That's at least 17 drinks you guys have had to drink by now.
It's been 4. I actually keep track of this. We had other rules at one point, but I don't know. I don't know if if you something to do with if you overtake somebody on a corner but can't hold it, then you have to drink. Yeah, I remember that one.
I don't remember any other ones.
I would offer to like have a drink counter on the screen, but let's be honest, I ain't gonna do it.
These are true statements.
It's way more effort than I'm willing to put in. You keep track of it yourself. I will tell you how many drinks you need, and that's about it.
You're on the honor system.
Glixer's driving a Porsche. Why do I always think Glixer's not driving a Porsche, and then he is in a Porsche?
I thought that the website got shut down. I thought Microsoft wasn't doing that anymore.
So Wilk is finally clear of all the GT4s, but he is almost 12 seconds behind Tesaro, so he is still not really in this race. And Wilk, I feel your pain. This reminds me of Nürburgring, where I started the race effectively a lap down.
You kids and your constant nerd-burgering.
On board with Callum Rustin, we're looking back at Flack and Kelleher. Kelleher has the ping, let me tell you. That red bar is, well, it's very red. Those who are unaware, you can tell the ping someone is having by the bar beside their number. I do like the name Purple Sector for Callum Rustin. It's a solid team name. Whoa! Actually, it looks like Kelleher has a very similar livery to him. Wonder if they are buddies.
I believe it's just a matter of piracy.
Could be. Looks like Day just got Charger. That is for 21st overall, and that would be about 6th place in the GT4 category. So a little bit of Ginetta overtaking Porsche. Byron, have you ever seen a Ginetta before?
That was Shawn Michaels' tag team partner. Of course I have.
Set up and delivered. Michael Magus running in 11th place here. He's got Badowski on his tail and Sean Kenny up ahead.
What are the genetics of the Ginetta?
It's a British-made car. It's honestly sounds a little bit like a go-kart when you drive it, and it kind of handles like a go-kart, to be honest, which is
That's
both good and bad. Not considered a generally terribly competitive car, but it does do some things. We're back with Juan Antonio Fernandez in the very Red Devil-esque car, as he is being hunted by Mueller. That is for top Aston Martin honors, I do believe, and they are both hunting Baba Ganoush's Porsche.
That is Fernandez and Mueller's day off?
Maybe.
Baba Ganoush.
Still Crookie, Glexter, Anderson, Eugenie, and Kinney rounding off the top 10. Looks like the GT3 field is pretty settled at the moment. Wilk is catching up to Cesaro at a fairly rapid rate, so that may turn into something at some point as we head through Eau Rouge, one of the world's most famous turns. To be honest. Was that Eau Rouge? I think that was Eau Rouge. Oh, Glixer going for it against Crookie in the background.
Oh, I thought that said Crunchy.
Nah, it's Crookie. Into Leco. I realized that there was during this race, that there was a turn at Spa Francorchamps that I knew the name of, but not which turn it was. It was kind of interesting. I think that's the first time that's ever happened, to be honest. Because there's a turn on this track called Stavlo, and I know it's one of two turns, but not which one it actually is. I realized I just kind of refer to both of them as Stavlo.
In the future, all corners will be Stavlo.
Probably not. The way racetracks are going, all turns will just be turned.
All turns will be Dave.
There needs to be a turn named after Dave at some point.
But which Dave?
Just Dave. It's generically Dave. All the Daves.
Dave Chappelle?
I'll be down with that. Dave Chappelle corner. Dave Chappelle chicane. Chicane would probably be good.
The Chicane Show.
Dave Chicane. There you go. Juan Antonio Fernandez still hunting down Baba Ganoush for third place. And in behind them is Mueller. Baba Ganoush holding on for the time being. I've not seen Baba Ganoush this high up in the standings before, so this is good to see him. Also, I don't think I've seen Fernandez this high up in the standings, so that's also good. So perhaps some career days here. Back at the GT4 category, it is still Butler, Edmonds, and Skull leading the way with Barker and Morgan rounding off the top 5. Although, I would suspect that maybe Zach Morgan is looking at a penalty for the contact with Herbie.
I mean, it's not like cars got arms. You can't just hug somebody whenever you want. I'm sure that's all
true.
it was.
Wilk has caught up another second to Cesaro, so that we're not there yet. We're like 9 laps away from that being like a real fight, but I think it's coming. Tough battle between Magus and Baba Badowski there for 11th place still. Sean Kenny's battling with Xavier Eugenie. Andrew Anderson's on the back of Glixer. They're having a good fight, as well as Crookie. So that's a good 3-way fight that hopefully we get to see some of. And of course, this one here between Baba Ganoush, Fernandez, and Mueller. Fernandez is going for it, and of course we lose the battle. And you pick up the lead car of Mikoldas Marinowski, who is working his way through traffic, so I'm not super keen on why we changed over to his car, because nothing is really happening around him right now. He's just making his way through blue flags. Meantime, Menacing Skull going off the track at the bus stop. This is going to open the door for John Barker and company. Barker looking to drag him down to the source. In the background, Day going side by side as well. That's with Zach Morgan. And Barker has, I think, got it into the source. And I think Morgan's got the win against Day there. So, some good moves. Oh, never mind. A little bit wide there. Day's going to have a run into Eau Rouge. Please, cameras, stay with this, because if they go side by side with Eau Rouge, my dick is going to get real hard.
Oh, snap.
And, okay, Day gave up on it. Day did not have a death wish. Skull looking to get his spot back there against John Barker. Menacing Skull going for it, and he's got it down the straightaway. That Mercedes out-muscling the Aston Martin.
Fire the photon torpedoes.
I'm down with that. And, oh, Day going off in the background there, so pressure is off Zach Morgan at least a little bit. This is the battle for the last GT4 podium spot between Skull and Barker, as it is pretty much Butler and Edmonds kind of on their own in first and second place. We do have a pit stop to handle. Martin is bad at pit stops, so he might come into this because he didn't watch my video. I'm still a little salty.
A horrible person.
I'm a little salty that my fellow admin did not watch all my videos before he started asking me questions about the game.
As per my last video.
So, looks like Fernandez and Muller have gotten Baba Ganoush, so I'm very disappointed that we lost that battle when we did, because, well, places changed hands. So, still working on the whole concept of getting the everything together here with the settings. And let me know again in the comments what you thought of these particular settings and what we can adjust for the future as Callum Rustin gets out of the way. Glixer is overtaken Mueller. What happened to Mueller? He's dropped all the way back behind Glixer. That's for 5th place. He was up in 4th, but he appears to have gone off the track. Anderson in the mix there. Glixer, Crookie, Eugenie, Kenny's in that mix as well. Pit window is open. 1 pit stop. Mandatory tires here today, although fuel would also be a good idea. Byron, who do you think will come in the pits first?
That would be the man, the myth, legend, Max Simmons.
He is not in this race.
Doesn't matter.
Baba Ganoush in 4th place. I honestly don't remember who pitted first, so, let me guess. Well, the answer's been provided. Glixer apparently just died in the pits. He ruined my fun.
Well done, sir, well done.
Day is also in the pits. I was going to say that the first one to pit was going to be Tazaro, because I think he's carrying damage, but that would have been my entire basis for that. Also in the pits is Badowski. Also, I feel like the need to toot my own horn. I actually led some laps in the practice race at Bathurst the other day.
Well done, sir.
There were only 6 cars in the grid, so, you know, don't get too carried away. But, proof that if you just don't put it in the wall, good things will happen. I did finish 3rd. Whoa! I want this battle to be on my screen for a while. There was a 4 wide there for a half second. Herbie is blue flag, so he'll be getting out of the way. Andrew Anderson through, as well as Crookie. Anderson is overtaking Crookie. They're both behind Dylan Mueller in the Aston Martin. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. My pick for the last man to pit. And I do not actually know the answer, so this is a guess. I'm gonna say it's gonna be D. Wilk. I think he's gonna have the open. He's gonna have open air the longest, and therefore he's gonna have the most reason to stay out and pit late, and then try to use fresh tires to make gains at the end of the race. That is my bet.
But what if he's fooled you all by adding 3 extra carburetors, and that probably won't have any effect at all?
I have no idea what that would do. That's an idea.
Carburate more.
That's an idea that I've never in my life pondered.
It's just bubblier. It's more carburation.
So we still ride with Dylan. Is it Dylan or Dylon? What do you think?
Probably I don't know. Dylan. I've never heard him rap.
Probably Dylan. Andrew Anderson and Sean Kenny and Xavier Jenny having a little scuffle here over 8th on track, but where that is in the pit stop sequence, I don't quite know. Baba Ganoush putting a lap on somebody, I think, there. And we're on board with Michael Magus. He is promoted to 9th place as Crookie heads into the pit lane.
For some cookies and milk.
Ooh, good one. I didn't even think of that one. John Barker is still fighting with Menacing Skull. They've got Juan Antonio Fernandez coming through the field now. Of course, this is the complications of Barker just got up the inside of Skull. Can we get a different camera view, please? It would be appreciated. Thank you. It was way too late, but Barker got the overtake done on Skull. Caught him napping through Lake Home, it just looks like. And that's 3rd place for Barker. This will be the interesting thing I was saying with the blue flags, is you might want to sequence up your pit stop to avoid blue flags if you can.
We want all the slow cars to pit first so that they're way out in front.
That would be ideal for the leaders, actually. In all seriousness. Menacing Skull looking at John Barker, Baba Ganoush, and Tesoro getting a little physical with Barker. I guess he could argue maybe that Barker didn't give him the room he thought he was going to give him, but there we go. Barker gets a little bit wide, and that does let Tesoro through. Tesaro's lost a lap somewhere in this whole thing, although I think that's just the pit stop talking. Again, ridiculously long pit lane here.
It is 18 1/2 kilometers.
I mean, it might as well freaking be. Holy crap. So if we get lucky with the cameras here, I'm going to show you. I'm gonna indicate how long the pit lane is. So we're coming up to the pit entrance here, Byron. It is basically, if you go straight here, see the extra pathway. That's the pit entrance. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm gonna show you the pit exit when we get there. There's a bunch of cars are diving into the pit lane. And so you think the pit exit is this corner? No, it is not. We're going further.
My goodness.
We're going further. So see that orange line of barriers there? That is still the pit lane.
Cool.
See that wall there?
Mm-hmm.
Still the pit lane.
They even think maybe just putting the race together here on, like...
See that orange line of barriers again? That's where the pit exit is right there.
Wow.
That's a long pit lane.
That's it's about 10 times longer than any pit lane known to humankind.
You are going 50 kilometers an hour through that whole pit lane as opposed to the 200 plus that everyone else is doing.
Yikes.
So much lost time. I haven't really been commentating on what's actually going on here because it's just blue flags being cleared. Xavier Jenny is coming through there in the BMW M6 GT3 car to get through on Skull and Barker. Magus in the shot as well, coming up to Menacing Skull as well in his Lexus RCF.
Is it Iran Barkley or Saquon Barkley?
Saquon.
My goodness.
Could also be Prince Charles.
Or Dave.
Mike Magus getting a little bit out of shape there in the Lexus as Mueller. That's just a blue flag, so I got excited for no real reason. Making his way through on Martin Edmonds, the second place GT4 car. Mike Magus getting through on the 4th place GT3 car of Menacing Skull.
Actually, I believe it's pronounced Menacing School.
I doubt it, but possible. I did know a guy whose last name was Jones, spelt Jones, like obvious spelling, and we get super offended when you said his last name was Jones, because apparently it wasn't. It was Johns somehow.
Well, there's an easy way to fix that. Don't spell it wrong.
Yeah. Don't take one of the most common last names in the, English-speaking world and pronounce it differently. How's that sound? Skull heading into the pit lane. Does he have a unicorn on his car? Is that a unicorn? I think it is.
Maybe.
This is a custom livery, so there may be a skull somewhere, and we just haven't noticed it. He's in the pit lane along with Sean Kenny, and Badowski has been in the pit lane a really long time. So I'm wondering if he's just straight up out of the race.
He's just being super cautious on these exit speeds so he doesn't get dinged.
I mean, that's advisable because a drive-through penalty here. Need I say again, super long pit lane. Super long pit lane. Will Day has overtaken Zach Morgan in the pit stop sequence, so he's up a spot, probably 5th place in the GT4 once everything shakes out here.
Not sure.
Wilkin Reynolds in the pit lane, so I was wrong on my pick of last pit stopper. Wilk is in. And Magus, Eugeni, Mueller, Fernandez, the Polish crew up at the top of the pile, they are all still yet to pit, along with Butler, Edmonds, Barker, Rustam, and Flack.
Hoostum?
Oh, Hoostum Habilov.
Could be.
There's Glixer picking up some spots over some guys in the pit lane. Back up into the top 10. Chasing Baba Ganoush. There's a couple other guys in the pit lane. Might get him up even higher here. Oh, looks like he's... Oh, yeah, he is. He's actually up to 8th place now. So on the move. Does that mean that he is behind Sean Kenny? Has Kenny jumped... Kenny may have jumped some people in the pit lane. We'll have to see what that shakes up to be.
Well done.
Xavier Eugeni going through, and is he going to go in the pits? Nope, he's going to go for another lap. Top 4 all hit the pit lane this time around. Maranowski, Warzik, and Mueller.
Gump Worsley.
Oh, that's a name I've not heard in a long time. So I think Xavier Eugeni is actually going to take the lead off of this. Temporarily, obviously. He's got to, pit eventually. But we'll get to lead some laps. We'll get to do the Max Simmons special. There is the GT4 class leader. Both on track and in theory. James Butler, doing really well. Team name The Boom. A lot of people don't use the flag system in this game, which is interesting. You'd think more people would bring out their nationality.
Well, a lot of them immigrated to South America after 1945, and
doesn't really work for the British all that well.
Probably not.
Butler's still cycling. Martin Edmonds has pitted, or is in the pit lane, I should say, along with Rustam and Flack. So we are down to just Barker and Butler in the GT4 category. And in the GT3 category, I think we're just down to Javier Eugeni, or Xavier Eugeni. We have not actually figured out which it is. It's pronounced both ways.
Xavier.
Or Xavier, yes. Number of options. Zach Morgan on the tail of Menacing Skull, it seems. He's got Reynolds in behind him. That's a GT3, so that'll be a blue flag scenario. There he goes. And Wilk in behind Reynolds. So Wilk is caught up to Reynolds and is starting to pressure him. Once we get the final pit stops in, I will give you an update on the positions, but we are still waiting for the last couple of people to handle their business down the pit lane. You know what actually makes this pit lane even worse is you get these sections with the yellow or the orange like blockade between you and the track, and you can see people just racing past you. Like it makes you feel like you are actually standing still.
You should just make it one endless tunnel.
So there is Zach Morgan, 420 racer. Currently in... Oh, there we go. The GT4 leaders and Butler and Barker hitting the pit lane. Haven't seen... I don't see Jenny, so I assume he's still up in the top 2 spots and hasn't pitted yet. I'll tell you who lost out in the pit stops already. Crookie. He's down to 10th place, possibly slightly higher. But he was up battling with the likes of Baba Ganoush, Mueller, Glixer, Anderson, and is way behind them now. Also a big loser, Juan Antonio Fernandez, who's down to 9th place.
What, Antonio Marquez?
Juan Manuel Marquez.
Whoa.
Juan Antonio Margarita.
Fuck that guy. He's the guy that fucking put the plaster in his gloves, right?
No, I don't think that's
Isn't it Margarito?
Might have been.
I think it was.
He's not the first one coming to mind on the plaster and gloves idea, but that would be Felix Trinidad.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Margarito because he fought Trinidad with plaster and the gloves. Yeah, it is Margarito. Yeah, it was. Okay. Yeah.
I still feel like Trinidad got busted with it at some point as well.
No. Not that I'm aware of.
I'm not a huge boxing fan. MMA is more my thing, obviously, but I do follow it on a cursory level.
Yeah, he definitely had it plastered up when he fought Shane Mosley, and then he fought Miguel Cotto, who was heavily favored to win and like mysteriously got beat the fuck up and then lost. And then he got his ass beat by Pacquiao twice in a row, and then had a rematch against Cotto, and Cotto beat his monkey ass.
I mean, the problem with Margarito, just as a boxer in general, is that so much of his ability is like just, I am really, really tough. And if you can hit him and not lose confidence that he's not going down, you will beat his ass. It's when you're like, you know, it's that classic. You hit, it's that Derek Lewis, Mark Hunt moment of, all right, that's a pretty good hit. That's a pretty good hit. But I've been hit with bigger. I've withstood it, and now you can get the Super Samoan on your ass. Or like it's like fighting Chris Lieben, to be honest.
As long as you can move your head, you win.
As long as you can like punch a guy and have him no sell it and you know and not lose confidence, you win. I remember Patrick Cote versus Chris Lieben was one. Oh, Reynolds gets overtaken by Wilk. A little bit of contact there. Didn't get a great look at it, but that might have been slightly dirty pool. Anyways, Patrick Cote losing to Chris Lieben was like entirely Patrick Cote hitting Lieben and going, "Why are you still here? What do I do now?"
To be fair, that usually is the end of the fight when Patrick Cote smoked you in the face.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When you're used to people like eating your best shot and just going down, and they don't go down, what is your reaction? That depends. That answers right there. If you're going to beat Antonio Margarito,
correct.
Forrest Griffin honestly was a bit of a test of that as well at 205 back in the day. So we ride with Jamie Reynolds in 13th place, which I think is last of the effective GT3 runners. Tazaro, Badowski, I think, are largely done and sitting in the pit lane, I think. Either that or they have pitted, rejoined a couple of times, and are very out of sequence at this point. Where'd Eugenie rejoin? Eugenie rejoined in 9th, so that long run by Eugenie didn't work out all that well because he is behind the man he was fighting with before, Sean Kinney.
Jonathan Kenningston, the man, the myth, the legend.
He's not that much of a myth.
Well, I mean, he's rarely around for me to talk to.
He is, to date, the only person who's hit for the cycle in my Super Mega Baseball series.
I'm still trying to ground out for the cycle.
Mm-hmm. You should join me for a Super Mega Baseball 3 preview video at some point.
Sounds delightful. As
I pick that game up, and we'll explore, like, what's new, what's different, and if it at the end of the day, at a 25% reduced price, was actually worth my money.
It is worth officially $72.50.
I'm going to say no to that.
That's also fair.
So Marinowski still leading. I promised to give a breakdown of the positions, and I will finally do that. Marinowski, I believe, is the leader, although he's cut off on the overall there at the moment. There we go! Fixed! He is in the lead. For the Lexus Power team. Warzicek is in 2nd place, Mueller 3rd, Babaganoush 4th, 5th is Glixer, 6th Anderson, 7th Kenny, 8th Fernandez, 9th Eugenie, and 10th Crookie. In the GT4 section, it is still Butler leading from Edmonds. Barker Day is your big winner up to 4th place. Menacing Skull, your big loser, down to 5th. Zach Morgan 6th. Charger 7th. Kirby 8th. Hustum or Rustum 9th. And Black 10th. As we ride with the Baba Ganoush.
Delightful.
Very plain livery. I feel like perhaps his livery is not in the the pack that RWB released for this race, and as a result, we are seeing some kind of. We're not seeing what he's seeing. We'll just put it that way. Unless he just really, really, really wants a red flat Porsche. Maybe.
I want one that's just bare metal.
He is trying to catch up or keep up with Mueller. I haven't been paying attention to the gap, so he may be losing ground or gaining ground, not sure which. Glixer in the background there is on his tail in the other Porsche, so top Porsche honors at stake here. Anderson a little bit back in the Aston Martin in 6th place. Then it's Kenny and Fernandez, Eugenie, Crookie, and then there's a pretty big gap back to Michael Magus, who is in 11th position. By the way, we're up to 9 drinks.
You guys got to play catch up then.
Not really much in the way of tight battles going on right now. A lot of potential battles. Don't get me wrong. A lot of gaps that could turn into something. But nothing terribly immediate right this second, I don't think. Blue flag car of RWB Flak here for some of the GT3 cars. Mueller going through. Next up will be Baba Ganoush. He is through. And then it'll be Glixer. And then Anderson.
Probably helping his landlady out with her garbage.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I like that shot right there that we got. You can see the height difference between the GT4s and GT3s off the ground. The GT3s, of course, much lower to the ground. The advantage there is aerodynamic in nature, better straight line speed, certain better handling qualities, but also less of ability to handle curbs, whereas the race cars have less trouble with the curbs and less chance of breaking themselves.
Break yourself, fool.
As we look back from Glixer at Andrew Anderson and Juan Antonio Fernandez having a little bit of a hard time getting past the blue flag car of RWB Flack. That one there is one of my favorite custom liveries we got running here. The one run by Juan Antonio Fernandez, which I refer to as the Red Devil one, in honor of Fedor Emelianenko's MMA gym.
Hell yeah.
Ooh, drive-through penalty for Zach Morgan. Looks like he's in the pit lane serving that already. So problems for Zach Morgan. Probably track cut penalties, because it is easy to accumulate those through Eau Rouge and Blanchimont, and really Pouhon, I guess, would be another potential problem area. So that takes the pressure off of RWB Charger, who was battling with Morgan. And might actually put Herbie ahead of him, because, of course, Herbie is the one that Morgan kind of punted early on in the race. So a little bit of karma there.
Perhaps he had a deadly premonition.
Perhaps.
There's a character named Zach Morgan from a game series called Deadly Premonition.
So Andrew Anderson has been caught by Glixer. Sean Kenny is coming, as well as Juan Antonio Fernandez. So this could be a really interesting scrap for 5th place. It has more or less ended Anderson's hopes at a podium, because Mueller and Baba Ganoush are slipping away as he is battling with Glixer.
Is he still paying Ninja to be on that site? I don't think that's how that works.
No. So it's Anderson, Glixer, Kenny, and Fernandez, and not too far back is Javier Eugeni, and even Crookie is not super far back of this fight, so that could get interesting here in the last 15 minutes. Sean Kenny sporting the Leipert Motorsport Lamborghini instead of his Triple F colors that he runs on Sundays. His team might be disappointed with that.
You'll hunt him down like a beast.
I mean, it's unlikely. Murray's his one teammate who's super, super nice, and then Little Higgs is his other teammate who is Little Higgs.
Little Higgs, let me in.
It's more F. Oh, mistake there by Sean Kenny. Gives a run to Fernandez. Herbie is being an unwitting Ricardo Zonta in this scenario. For those who don't get the Ricardo Zonta thing, 2000 Spa Grand Prix. Battle for the lead between Mika Hakkinen and Michael Schumacher. They came up to a lapped car of Ricardo Zonta coming into, I believe it was the Campbell Straight into Lake Home. And we had one of the most fascinating overtakes in F1 history, to be honest.
More fascinating than that time that Mika Hakkinen just drunkenly swerved onto the track.
I mean, that sounds more like a Kimi Räikkönen thing to do, to be honest.
Mika Hakkinen.
Kimi Räikkönen has one of my favorite team radios of 2020 so far. He got a penalty at, I want to say it was Monza. I could be mistaken on the track. But he got a penalty at Monza, and his crew is like, his crew chief is like, we have a 5-second penalty, and Kimi like pretty calmly goes, what for? And then they're like explaining what the 5-second penalty means, and then he goes, and he just yells into the mic, what for?
Very nice.
They're like, oh, I think it was a cut that you cut the track on the way out of the pits. He's like, thank you. So things are slightly closing up at the front of the pack. Jerry Wierzek is getting closer to Marinowski. If that's not how you say your first name, for the record, I apologize. The only Polish guy I know with that name does say that his name is Jerry. So if If it's Jersey or something, let me know. It's kind of weird. I am part Polish, but like I just have like no real living Polish relatives.
You're not really a Pole. You're just Polish.
Well, it's just like I'm very versed in my dad's side of the family, obviously, and then very versed in my mom's Irish side of the family, but not the Polish side so much. A couple people, yes, but not a lot. Will Day up there is a GT4 car, so this is just a blue flag scenario here for the Lamborghini. So Sean Kenny on the tail of Fernandez. Now the bad news, of course, is that Fernandez was behind him last we looked, so Fernandez has gotten clear of Sean. And Sean is looking to get that 7th place position back at this time.
Correct.
Still up ahead of them is the 5th place battle between Anderson and Glixer. GT4 run down, because we haven't looked at them in a while. Butler leads from Edmonds, Barker in 3rd, Scullford, Day 5th, Charger 6th, 7th for Herbie, 8th for Rustum, 9th for Flack, and 10th for Zach Morgan. And the GT3 category is Marinowski, Warazik, Mueller, Babagoosh, Anderson, Glixer, Fernandez, Kenny, Eugenie, and Crookie.
Did he get a drive-through penalty for being all crooky in the on the corners?
Hasn't yet. Riding with the Aston Martin of Juan Antonio Fernandez. Seems to more or less have the pace on Sean Kenny. Not pulling away a tremendous amount, but he's built up a 7/10 lead. Looks fairly solid. Yep, up to 0.9 now, so he is pulling away a little bit. And it looks like he is pulling closer to Glixer. Although he is 1.8 away with just under 10.5 minutes to go. Plus, however much extra time we get with the when the leader crosses the line.
That'll be another 18 more laps.
Definitely not. This is a 2-minute plus lap, so that is definitely not the case. Yellow flag out. Wonder who for? Not seeing anybody dropping through the order. Oh, Zach Morgan actually is dropping through the order, so maybe him. Actually, it might have been someone up higher because Fernandez is shown in 6th place. It's Mueller. Mueller was off.
Again?
Dylan Mueller was in 3rd place. He is off and dropping through the field. That is terrible news for the Aston Martin driver. He was on for a very, very solid result. Looks like he is stabilized in 9th place behind Eugenie and ahead of Crookie. Blue flag is out here for Charger. As Glixer goes, or Gixer. Gixer? I've been throwing an L in there the whole time. It's not even there. Just Gixer. Okay.
I just figured it was because of your Les Dixia.
I don't know, maybe it looks like there's an L when I'm up behind him on track or something.
Just going so fast, extra letters appear.
Maybe. Fernandez gets through on Charger, and Sean Kenny will be next as they head through Eau Rouge and Radillon. And, Kenny a little bit off the track to make the overtake happen. Might have gotten a track warning for that, so I'm not sure how advisable that was. But if you didn't get a penalty, it's totally legal.
Looked clean to me.
Marinowski has turned on the afterburners. I was saying that Warazik was catching up to him, but that gap of 7 seconds, it's up to 11.5 seconds. So, Marinowski watch. And Mueller is in the pit lane, so it looks like he suffered damage in whatever happened to him before. So forget a podium. It looks like not even a top 10 today for Dylan Mueller as we hop on board with Damien Wilk, who might yet be able to pull out a top 10, and probably not actually. He's about 12 seconds behind Michael Magus, and is in 11th place. But considering that he started dead last, even behind the GT4s, he has had a pretty solid comeback to 11th place. Kept his cool and has taken what's available. Byron, we got 6 minutes left here, 7 minutes. Would you care to reveal who is your driver of the race?
That would be Mr. Kimi Räikkönen.
Solid. Kimi Räikkönen's always a good pick.
Indeed.
I feel like this is... I mean, you may laugh at his pick, but I mean, Max Verstappen gets driver of the day when he does nothing, so it does happen. There was a whole mini drivers clip about Max Verstappen getting driver of the day. They're like, here's your driver of the day, and like Max would be like, yay, like the first like 6 times or whatever, and then by the 7th time he's like, this is getting ridiculous. They like smashes his car on lap 1, and they're like, you got driver of the day, and he's like, how did this happen? Mueller has rejoined the race, so he's not retired. He's going to get that result, but I think 13th place probably has his name on it, unfortunately. We didn't see what happened, but it definitely wasn't good. That's for sure.
Actually, I would say probably racer of the day is going to be either Fernandez or Kenny, because they've been up and down, up a bit, down a bit, up a bit, down a bit, but pretty consistent the whole time.
Oh, excellent. Good choices. Herbie. That's just a blue flag scenario, I think. Yeah. That was Tesaro going through, which actually I guess is for position, but they're not in the same class, so effectively a blue flag scenario.
You get the half green, half purple flag.
Man, it's been a bad day for Tesaro. If I have a not driver of the day, it is probably him. I think we saw him in the wall on lap 1, and that probably was the beginning of his problems, obviously. But he's racing the GT4s to the GT3. Oh God, Jamie Reynolds, way off the track, and he's going to get a drive-through penalty. That might promote Mueller back up into 12th place. I spoke too soon when I said that Mueller might have 13th with his name on it. So that drive-through penalty is going to take a long time. So unless Reynolds is a full lap up on Mueller, he might be actually. It's shown as a 2-lap gap. So he might actually be safe.
Is two-lap gap anything like a 2-pump jump?
Kind of. Well, I was expecting to see Gixxer make a move on Andrew Anderson at some point, and that's not really come, and he's actually dropped about 1.9 seconds back on Anderson. Although 5th place would still be a very, very good result. We get to enjoy the Chevrolet Camaro of Herbie.
Actually, I believe that's pronounced Chevrolet.
Chevrolet.
It's the Dutch pronunciation.
Xavier Jenny, are we looking at anything in particular? Doesn't look like it. He just cleared a lapped car of menacing skill. See, Gixxer's got his flag out there. He's American.
Well, yeah, he's American.
Fernandez up ahead of him. And that is Martin Edmonds, the 2nd place GT4 car, as Reynolds has hit the pit lane to serve his drive-through. Also in the pits, Tesaro, so his day is getting worse.
Worse or better?
Definitely worse. Oh, somebody way off in the back there. Looked like it might have been Zach Morgan's Porsche just by a visual color identification. That and the lack of anyone dropping positions suggests that it is probably him, as he is towards the back of the pack.
And also because he is literally radiating flames.
I was just going to pull up the results for this race. Oh, it is here. Okay, so we are good to go. So we'll break that down after we're done here. So Gixxer trying to hold off Mueller for... Oh wait, never mind. Mueller is a lap down. This is not a battle for position.
So you're telling me right now I can't just make up stats?
I mean, you can. That's never stopped you before.
But no, they have to be enforceable though.
You'd have to make up stats that I can enforce in a made-up fashion.
No, they have to apply to real, actual life.
We call them fats.
Indeed. I rely on alternate stats.
You believe in alternate stats. In your world, the greatest F1 driver of all time is who?
That would be Bubba Watson.
Solid pick. Solid pick.
Or possibly that lady that didn't race good. I literally can't think of her name. Danica Patrick?
Danica Patrick. I was going to say, it's sad to say this, but there's a couple of women that fit that criteria.
Well, I mean, there's a lot more dudes that fit that criteria.
True enough. Danica Patrick actually was reasonably good. She just wasn't as good as the hype surrounding her would indicate. And her paycheck. I think someone once broke down how she was like the 6th highest paid driver in NASCAR while being in like 26th in the standings. It's like, yeah, it ain't right.
Got a good agent, man. Gotta get that money.
And it's called sex appeal.
Alright, man. The leader is on the final lap. Give me the final push.
Like, she's not Milka Duno or... I'm trying to think of like other just absolutely terrible female drivers. Milka Duno really is the queen of that, if we're being honest. Alright, we are on the final lap. Marinowski has hit that point. Checking down here if we've got any really good battles going on. Actually, it's Anderson has got Fernandez on his tail. And while we were not looking, Fernandez has gotten past Gixxer and is up into 5th place. So your driver of the day is on the charge, although your other driver of the day, Sean Kenny's lost a spot to Xavier Jenny.
If your leader was from Italy, would he have to change his name to Marinowski?
I mean, probably something like that. Although really, if he was from Italy, his name would just be changed to a hand gesture.
Hey, Giuseppe!
I was watching Pool Hall Junkies last night for Christopher Walken reasons, which is always enjoyable. I always enjoy his speech when they're in the final game. It's like, guys, like, let's play for everything. $80,000. He's like, you put down $80,000 like it's a big deal to you. I have to wonder how much more you have because I'm a millionaire. If I put down $80,000, I'm gonna go get another $80,000. Marinowski approaching the finish line here. This will be his last time through the bus stop, at least under race conditions. There's Michael Magus. Not sure why we're with him, because Martin Edmonds is not racing him.
He's finished the race.
It's just a blue flag, I guess. Just a blue. By the way, we're up to 11.
If you have not had 11 drinks, then you are not playing correctly.
Marinowski is your winner. The checkered flag is officially waved for him as well as for Herbie.
and everybody else will be summarily executed after the race.
Warzik, second place. Baba Ganoush. Oh, Fernandez got Anderson. Man, the camera should have been with Juan Antonio Fernandez for like this last bit. He got Anderson. He got Gixxer. And now he's trying to get that podium from Baba Ganoush. There it is. But Baba Ganoush is going to hang on to the final podium spot ahead of Fernandez. And Andrew Anderson Reynolds appears dead at the side of the track. So out of fuel, maybe. Gixxer is done. Eugenie in 7th. Kenny in 8th. Crookie will be 9th place, I think. As the car park starts forming up at La Source. Crookie is done. Mike Magus is done. There he is. 12 drinks, by the way. Waiting on Wilk. James Butler, Martin Edmonds, and John Barker are your official GT4 podium, pending any kind of penalties. We're waiting for Menacing Skull, Will Day, and RWB Charger to finish, as well as Tazaro and Morgan are in the pit, so they're done. It's really just the last couple of GT4s that need to come home right now. Once again, this series is brought to you by SimSucks, Sim Racing Footwear. Check them out.
Or Doom.
Okay, looks like everybody's done. So Marinowski is your winner from Warzik. And then it is Baba Ganoush, Fernandez, Anderson, Gixxer, Eugenie, Kenny, Crookie, and Magus, your top 10 in GT3. GT4, it is Butler, Edmonds, Barker, Skull, Charger, Day, Herbie. I can't see the rest, so I will go to Race App. After Herbie, it is Callum Ruston and RWB Flack. DNFs for Tazaro, Zach Morgan, Babadowski. Babadowski's German, not Polish. Actually, so is Marinowski, so I apologize for assuming the ski names were Polish. Actually, apparently, Marinowski is Belgian. Interesting.
That's practically bullet.
And then Kelleher and Martine also out of the race. Might have been Martine who was in the wall early on, actually, because he didn't make it past lap 1.
Hey, Martine.
All right, so that was the results. Let's see if they got the standings up to date, and I can give you those. The standings have not been applied, so I cannot. I'm going to assume Marinowski is still in first place. His 4th at Nürburgring and his victory in Suzuka had gotten him there, and presumably he will continue to be there. In the GT4 category, I feel like Menacing Skull probably still has the lead, but it might be James Butler, today's winner, who came in 3rd place behind Skull and Zach Morgan. Zach Morgan will probably be tumbling through the order once the standings are updated. So, Byron, that was Spa Francorchamps on the Super Series. Is there anything you want to add to finish this up with?
I'm still holding out for Spa Hispano-Shaw, and everybody should go watch the 2012 action-adventure movie Dread.
Oh, yes! It's a very good movie. Love that. And it'll be Silverstone next week. I might be there. I might not be there. Got some family in town, which might lead to some kind of family gathering. And we'll see what happens with that.
And then a mass burial.
Hopefully not. There will hopefully be masks and appropriate social distancing involved.
And flamethrowers.
Purification.
Burn in holy hellfire.
We know a thing or two about purification. So.